Okay. Okay. Not bad. They're still muted?
We can hear you.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, welcome to another episode of The Dorkening, and we got a fun show and a full house right with us today. And just a reminder, you know, we love supporting indie artists and indie businesses. That's why Deadly Grounds is the sponsor of ours. And check the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, for a link for Deadly Grounds. And with us tonight, we have James.
How's it going, everybody? Enjoying that Deadly Grounds coffee.
Oh, yeah. Yo.
Hey, everybody. I got no coffee.
No coffee?
Period.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at you.
Fancy water, you know.
Steven.
Hello, everyone.
He's eating flowers. The flowers behind.
And if you recognize that voice, Kevin.
I just figured we'd need more of that song.
Oh, that's awesome. You like it, huh?
No, I fucking hate it.
It's better than Chat Pop, though.
Everything's better than Chat Pop.
And Patrick.
Hello.
I have neither a guitar nor coffee, but I do have Mountain Dew shark juice. Mountain Dew sponsor us.
Yeah, totally. The Mountain Dew Zero is awesome.
There's no one.
We just on Still Token Dead, we had a sax player on. He was actually the sexy sax player on the beach in the Lost Boys. It was Timmy Capone, not Capone.
Tim Capello.
Capello, that's it. Tim Capello.
And actually, he was actually the sax player in Tina Turner's music video, We Don't Need Another Hero, which was the song for Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Boom.
And the good thing is that they were right. They didn't need another hero. So all these years they thought it was miscommunication, but they really didn't need one.
No, until that 90s movie.
Until Bonnie Tyler just totally ruined it for everyone because she was holding out for a hero, and Tina Turner said, "You don't need another hero," and there was a huge feud. As a result.
It was like, if I remember correctly, it was like the Michael Jackson "Beat It" video where they were just going at each other with the knives.
Yeah, they did have a knife fight at the Grammys in 1987.
Yeah,
was that before or after his hair caught fire with the Pepsi?
Yes, it was both.
Yes.
That's how long it went on for. It was years. It started before, ended after.
They were very evenly matched. Nobody could get the upper hand. It was like Batman fighting Captain America.
Yeah, they ended up stopping it with bear traps. That's how they stopped the fight.
Oh. It sounds like the 80s were crazy. We know the 80s were great for horror movies. How's that segue? So we're going to be doing, I think best if we do it like round table, and we cut it down to 5, but I know a lot of us have more than 5. So if we need to fill any time, we can definitely, go into honorable mentions. But how about we have James kick us off?
Oh, you want me to go first, huh?
Yeah.
He drew the shortest straw.
What was that?
He drew the shortest straw.
Well, actually, you know what? To make things easier, let's have Yo-Yo start because he's.
What?
I'm ready to go. Like me, I'd be like, you go. No, hold on.
Yo, James.
You weren't ready fast enough.
How does this make it easier for you? I guess comes my question.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so the way my screen is laid out for the control panel, Yo-Yo's first. So we'll start with the. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll start.
Jim was already.
Well, do you have the control?
Even readier when it's actually his turn. Just kidding. Psych. Leo on his nightly power trip.
Are we listing all 5, or are we going
one by one?
We didn't break down some. Okay, one by one.
Yeah, so what is Videodrome? Okay, and do you wish to extrapolate on why? I know
it's body horror, man. I'm a fan of special effects, man.
Okay. And next in the line we have Kevin.
Why? I'm not guest. For me, like a movie that I just it still gets me to this day, and as a child, it affected me greatly was Poltergeist, the first Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist, not this remake BS. But yeah, the little
I watched that
under the bed and the peel in the face and maggots. Gross.
Yeah, I watched the that and the reboot, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been way worse, but it was not warranted. But whatever.
Well, I just love with at least Poltergeist all like, did Steven Spielberg actually direct that movie? Because that's always been the question.
Everyone's questioned it, but I guess no. I mean, it's been said that he was, and then other people that are in the know said that's not the case. Whatever, but either way, that just means that Tobe Hooper is involved in 2 of my favorite movies, so I'm okay with it. The other one being Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wait, what did he do for that?
He directed both of them.
I know.
Whatever.
And Patrick, what is your number 5?
Well, I'm gonna go because I know no one else is gonna pick this one, and if you kind of look around behind me, you'll see a bit of a theme going on. I'm going to go with 1987's Jaws: The Revenge because it was the first Jaws movie that I saw, and it really set the bar super low. So the original Jaws seemed so much better in comparison. Because at the time I was totally unaware that sharks had vocal cords and could scream and growl and roar at Mario Van Peebles. But turns out they can, at least in the Brodyverse. But 1987 Jaws: The Revenge.
And they're also psychic, and they can follow you, to the Caribbean. I know I'm in the.
After eating the young one, Michael, after getting him, it had been trying to get Michael for since 1975. It took him 12 years. But finally got him. They set traps, apparently, because that's how they got Michael at the beginning. I'm sorry, Sean.
I'm in the minority. I actually enjoy that movie, or I did when I was a kid because I saw it at the theater. But you love everything that's in the theater.
I read the novelization too. It exists.
Yeah. Does he scream in the novelization as well?
Yeah, like the shark lets out these weird vocalizations, and it's like, no, it doesn't.
They just spell it out. Gleep glorp. That's what it says.
Rawr.
Growl.
Anybody else like Jaws: Revenge?
No, I don't.
If we were doing worst 80s horror movies ever, I would put that way at the top. But that's just my opinion.
But you have to understand too, though. Like Leo has a point. Believe it or not, I'm agreeing with Leo. It's somewhat, but when you're a kid, the things you love, they may be horrible, but it leaves an imprint on you. So there's so many movies that we all love from when we were kids that are absolute garbage. Just face it, right? But we still love it because it was great to us. At the end.
James.
Actually, no, Yo-Yo, go again.
For me, my number 5 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors.
Now I got to cross it off my list.
No, you don't. You guys talk about it together.
14, so just in case.
That's honorable mention number 672.
If it's any recollection, I have a Halloween mixtape on my phone, and I was on my way to the studio today, record my podcast. I was listening to Doc and Dream Warriors on the mixtape, so it's always a plus on that soundtrack.
Well, it was interesting because in my show I recorded on Sunday, which Zencaster didn't record the guest audio whatsoever, so we had 2/3 of a conversation that was downloaded. This kid, right? Whatever. We had our conversation was about survivors of horror over the decades. We picked one from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. One survivor that defines that decade, and we had a conversation about it. And my co-host Jay actually picked one of the survivors from Dream Warriors, and we actually got into a big conversation about that. I actually went back and rewatched it, and I was like, wow, this movie is actually one of the better Nightmare sequels. It definitely, for me, my favorite sequel for Nightmare is always going to be A New Nightmare. I always feel like that is more like, it's such a meta movie, but it's just really well shot. Been like the whole mythos of it, but like Dream Warriors, definitely, it was definitely an interesting movie to watch, especially after compared to Nightmare 2 and even Nightmare 4 and whatever, Freddy's Dead or whatever that last one was. So, but yeah, so new Dream Warriors is my 5th.
The Dream Warriors is my favorite sequel
ever.
Just in that franchise.
Oh, okay. You didn't like the one with Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold, where he looks like he's made out of pizza?
Also, that was a PG-13 movie.
I'm just saying.
Are you thinking Pizza the Hut? Like, are you thinking?
No. Freddy Krueger looked like he was made out of melted cheese. He progressively got stupider and stupider looking throughout that franchise.
Well, that happens. Look at the special effects for the Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, I hear you. No. Growing up, Nightmare on Elm Street was my jam, and rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, wow, these are shit. Like a lot of after 3, they're garbage.
Wasn't the 4th one the one where like the baby was dreaming and that's how Freddy was
like he
having his power? Yeah.
This is coming. You see the disdain on his face, and this is a guy who liked the movie where sharks talked.
growled. Well, no, go back to the Jaws Revenge. You've heard the Michael Caine quote about Jaws the Revenge, right?
Oh, how much he hated it.
Well, he goes, it paid for a house.
Yeah.
Like he did it and it paid for like this house he had. Like
It ate his helicopter. It ate his plane. It ate the helicopter in Jaws 2.
And there's two different endings to that, right?
They're both horrible.
Yeah. I
The
think one
shark exploded in two different ways. There's a TV version where they cut it, and then there's another one where it's just that you see it impaling the shark.
Well, there's one where Michael Caine lives and one where he dies also.
See, I thought it was Mario Van Peebles that lived and died, like, because he got chomped pretty bad, and he was just like floating there, all his guts and blood everywhere. And they're like, "Hey, you're all right," and he's just like, "No, I'm pretty dead."
Oh.
The shark bit me and dragged me underwater, and I was bleeding everywhere. I'm just kind of floating on top of the water like a dead log. But yeah, I'm fine.
Not to mention that whole ending was on the same soundstage they filmed the ending of the Truman Show.
Not at the same time, though.
No, different times.
Okay.
Sometimes? Okay.
Making sure. I was like, that's Truman Show took a very long time to make then.
I have to tell you, I've only seen one Nightmare on Elm Street, and it was only until recently when I was younger, a friend introduced me to the movie, and I thought it was too scary. I shut it off like...
Which one? Did you see the first one?
I think it was the first one. I think I shut it off like 10, 15 minutes into it, and I never looked back.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah. But I did enjoy Friday the 13th, though. But
I will say, have you guys seen the Nightmare on Elm Street pitch meeting on Screen Rant?
No.
Where they were talking about like, oh yeah, it's definitely, it might launch this one guy's career, Johnny Depp. They're like, yeah, but when's the next time, he's ever going to be in a movie about a guy with knives for hands? I thought it was pretty good. It's funnier in the video. Watch the video.
Yeah. Steven.
Yes. Oh, number 5. Creep Show.
5. Creep Show.
Yep.
Why Creep?
So you have George Romero directing, and then you have Stephen King writing like some of the stuff with Romero. So you have like 5 different stories, plus the bookend with the kid, Stephen King's son and Tom Atkins. It's just like awesome, like an anthology. You have, I'm not going to go through all of it because we're all on a time crunch, but the one story I like is with Leslie Nielsen and Ted Danson. That's probably the best of them all, in my opinion. Because you see Leslie Nielsen as a comedian, but he's in a serious role as the vengeful guy bearing Ted Danson up to his head. And Sam.
Was that before Leslie Nielsen actually started doing the comedic stuff? Because he was a serious actor for a long time before.
Yeah,
this was before Naked Gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Creep Show is what, 87?
82.
82.
I thought Leslie Nielsen had a show before that, though.
Yeah, Police Squad.
Yeah.
Files of
Yeah, he had that, and then he was also in. Yeah, he did some comedic stuff before then, but he didn't really get known for the super comedic stuff till later.
He was also the captain in the Poseidon Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the first like real comedic thing that he did was Police Squad. I think I could be completely wrong, but I think it was. And it's great if you like the airplane movies. It's basically the same jokes from the airplane movies, but in a TV show.
Can't.
No, you can't. It's great. I've watched it a billion times.
Yeah, the episodes are somewhere for free.
My Plex. Yep.
There you go.
Everything's on Plex.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, almost.
That's what you call a Plex flex.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay. For me, I think I'm gonna go Christine.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I saw it first time on TV. I didn't see it at the theater, and just something about that movie, really, hung with me. I really enjoyed it.
My dad actually took me to see that movie in the drive-ins when I was a kid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was so scared I forced myself to fall asleep. I used to do that when I was a kid. If I get scared, I would just be like, "All right, go to sleep," and I would just like, I would fall.
Passing out from fear.
Probably, it probably is what it was.
Both.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I mean, I guess he knew I liked horror movies, but I mean, what year did that come out?
1983.
I was born in 70. I wasn't even 10. and he took me to see Christine in the drive-ins, and it was some like female version of like Tarzan movie before that.
Jane.
No, Nina something, I don't know, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, I remember that. It's like one of the first few times I went to the drive-ins.
When did Beetlejuice, not Beetlejuice, Poltergeist come out?
82.
Yeah, I think it was 82.
82.
I saw that on cable for the first time I saw it was on like HBO or something.
I saw that at the drive-in.
Nice.
Yeah.
And by the way, just so you guys know, I wasn't going in any particular order. Poltergeist wasn't my number 5, but I don't care.
Okay. It's still a great movie.
I wasn't going in like order either. So
yeah,
I didn't know that was a stipulation. I was just gonna throw out.
I did because I paid attention to instructions.
Well, we usually do a top 10, top 5 like once in a while in our podcast. So I'm no stranger to this. So I did a 5 through 1. So
yeah, you always start at the bottom in any of these top anything lists.
I think you start at the top and just be like, "This is the best one." If you want to hear anything that I didn't like as much, stay tuned.
3, 1, 4, 2, 5. That's my order.
Yeah, I like to blow my load and then just mediocrity from there.
Good to know.
You're welcome. Ask Christian.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah. I have, and you need to use some extra strength cleaner to get it out.
Yo-Yo, how are you going to follow that, Yo-Yo?
Gremlins.
Oh,
in no particular order, but a Christmas horror movie, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good time. I was gonna put it on my list, and I'm like, I guarantee you someone else will. So I did.
Well, I mean, you're right. It's one of those hard. How can you not add that to your, like? Someone's gonna have it on their list.
Right.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Who else had it on their list?
I had it on my just in case.
Yeah, his 14 movie list.
Yeah, I had it as number 2 on my list.
Did you really?
Yep. Yo-Yo, why Gremlins?
David just said it's Christmas horror movie, man.
Christmas horror movie. It's a good time. You're a kid.
Yeah.
They're cute. They're scary. At the same time, you have Flo from Alice getting shot up on a like that stair like chair thing. Good times.
Oh yeah, that was
great. Drug gremlins.
Flo from Alice. She's like, kiss my grits.
But also, Gizmo's so cute, and he drives a little RC car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did anyone see that in the theater?
No, unfortunately, I didn't.
I saw it in the theater.
No, I wasn't alive then, but one of my sponsors does a double feature, and I saw it in an old theater paired with Die Hard. So I did see it in a theater with.
Cool. I saw it when I was a kid in the theater, and then I saw the new batch in the theater, and they gave out T-shirts to kids on the way in. And I got was it Dizzy Gremlin? He had like the eyes that would spin. Had a Dizzy Gremlin.
That is the one I wanted to see in the theater because I wanted to see the original like version where they interrupt the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Yep. It was a good time. It was fun.
I saw a new batch at the theater. I didn't see the original in the theater though.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin.
Oh, hey, it's me again. I'm going to go with a movie that I actually watched in order to do a book report when I was a kid, and it still scared the crap out of me. That'd be Cujo. I didn't read the book, watched the movie, did a book report, and I got a good grade.
Oh, Cujo was good.
Cujo's great. It's got D. Wall. Huh?
Congratulations on that book report.
Thank you. You had no idea. It was great. Even though I was like, the mom from E.T. did this, and then Jonathan from Who's the Boss was like, and then this guy in a clog suit was like, she still gave me a good grade. I didn't do any of that, but I really did the book report. But yeah, it's still like for a movie with so little cast, and it's pretty much almost all the movie takes place in like one location. It's still pretty terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen it.
What's that?
Haven't seen it.
You haven't? No?
Really?
It's a good time.
It's really good.
It's a good time. You feel very sweaty watching the movie because everyone's like drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel for it. It's crazy.
It may be on my Plex.
I think it's on mine too.
Yeah.
It is on your Plex.
I have a memory of seeing that at the drive-in. But I think I snuck out of the car.
Good place to see it.
You snuck out of the car and then you were attacked by a dog.
I think we were seeing something else.
Oh, the irony.
Instead of T-shirts, everybody gets a free St. Bernard puppy.
Yeah.
puppy. For your rabid dog. Yeah. I think I rented it from it was a place called Fabulous Fiction. It was comic books and stuff, and he had a video rental store in the basement, and I used to go there and rent Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And one time I went there and rented Cujo and did a book report at the end.
Oh, nice.
That was a good story.
Yeah. I have a book coming out about it. Actually, more of a pamphlet. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, can't wait to read it. Patrick.
Well, since we're not going in order anymore, I want to make sure I get my number one out before anybody says it. So I actually wore a shirt that you can't see, so I'm going to tilt it a little bit.
Oh, nice.
McCready's Pest Control Outpost number 31. My number one is The Thing. Probably the greatest special effects and practical effects that you'll ever see in a film. I did a thread on Facebook the other day where people were describing their favorite movies to make them sound boring, and my description of this movie was a group of scientists in Antarctica play Guess Who, and that's essentially the plot of the film. I would also like to say that this is the greatest sequel of all time, and I'm not counting the one that came out in the 50s. But since in 2011 they came out with a prequel of the same name, that automatically makes this now a sequel. So this is the greatest sequel of all time.
There you go. But I enjoy The Thing was on my list as well. I really enjoy The Thing. We actually just covered it on Secret Underground Hideout. I want to say that episode is out. I think it just came out. And one of the guys he still has never been able to make it through the movie, the entire thing. I don't get it.
Actually, it's my number 4 on this list.
Right, but I'm saying, like, we can all agree that it's a great movie. He is bored to tears by it. I have no idea why.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Go see it.
You should. It's
literally stop this right now. Put it up on Plex and go watch it.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Just for the fact that Wilford Brimley's in it.
It's one of the few times you will ever see Wilford Brimley without a mustache.
Yeah. Oh. And he's also badass.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And the adult the TK Carter, like the grown up mentor of Punky Brewster, has roller skates in it.
And Tom Waits, who was at Super Mega Fest last year, was in the movie as well.
But did you know Punky Brewster is coming back?
Has nothing to do with They Live.
The Thing.
They're going to bring back the ghost of Brandon? Is that what you're telling me? Golden Retriever ghost?
Brandon Tanzak says, came in late talking 80s horror. You cannot leave out Creep Show. We definitely brought up Creep Show.
That was Anna Stevens.
Yeah. Punky Brewster is coming back with
not 80s horror. There's no reason to continue with your comments.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm a guest.
Come back as a horror movie.
I'm not accepting that.
James.
So I had The Thing on my list as well. Same thing with Christine. But for me, I went as well with The Shining. Even though it really...
Shining, you don't want to get sued?
Shining.
I watched that last night.
Don't be shinning me between 5 and 6. That's Willie's time.
It's Willie's time.
I have let me use my shin-ing.
What is it? Chin to call Willie.
May I ask what that was from?
Jesus Christ.
Really?
He hasn't seen The Thing, and now he doesn't know what the hell that's all about.
No beer, make Homer something.
Not Game of Thrones. I don't know what. It's not Starch.
Is that something Baby Yoda said?
Is that Deep Space Nine you're referencing?
Homer, us and some of the monsters are kind of disappointed on how the killing your family is going.
Can't talk.
Can't kill eating.
Do you remember who the ghouls were that came in and grabbed him?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Freddy Krueger, Jason, Frankenstein.
Was it the Wolfman in there as well?
Yeah.
Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, a mummy, Freddy, Jason and Pinhead.
So, I mean, for me, I still think I started watching some of Doctor Sleep. I know the movie. Stephen King didn't like the movie, and I know the book is very much different than what the movie took place. But it's still one of the better horror films out there. It's one of those movies that's been so parody. It's so part of the pop culture that it's lost some of its luster. But it's still on one of my lists too. I watch every Halloween just because I always feel like some of those, not the luster, but maybe the impact, because like I said, it's been parodied so much. I mean, I think The Simpsons parodied it at least 5 different times in their Halloween specials.
Okay.
Like
I personally don't feel like it's missing anything. I still think it's a great movie.
I
can see where you're getting at. I mean,
well, I still think it's a great movie. I'm just saying I think the impact of some of those scenes don't really hold up now because everybody's seen the parody of it. I use the same excuse of like the scares in Alien lost some of its scare power because it's been parodied so much.
That's because of Spaceballs. Yeah, Spaceballs.
Well, because of Spaceballs.
What?
Well, so for my thing, it's still like it's definitely a movie I want to show like Logan when he gets a little older, sit him down, like we're gonna watch this movie, and I think it's still one of those movies that I want, that I love to watch because the soundtrack's on point. It's this, the feeling of dread that you get early on in that movie, the cinematography, everything to make that movie what it is just top notch. So it's just definitely and I still love the soundtrack. I still love that organ intro. It gets you right away and it kind of hooks you on pretty quickly. So it's definitely it's definitely.
You started watching Doctor Sleep. Did you finish Doctor Sleep?
I got pretty far. I got about halfway through it. I kind of got. I was talking to some other episode. I don't mind it. I like Hugh McGregor. I kind of like what they were doing with it. Jen has the book, and I might want to read the book before I finish it. But I know like they recreated the Overlook pretty damn well. And I know that's where the majority of the budget went, was to recreate some of the set pieces. But for me, what kind of put me on edge, and I won't go into the long diatribe, is ever since I've Harrison, I've had issues with like babies and like kids being endangered and stuff like that. So the one scene in the movie where Hugh McGregor sees that girl who like OD'd, and you see the baby dead next to her, or the embodiment, I was like, I'm done. Like I was automatically like, I can't watch, because it kind of just was like, oh my god, and kind of just set me there because I was like, okay, what's going to happen next? And I kind of was like turned off. So
I hear you. I tried to watch it. Tried to watch it once, and I lost interest in it. And I finally one day just sat down and just like, all right, I'm just going to do it. And I actually really liked it.
Well, and that's what everybody keeps telling me. It's a good movie, and it's very well done. And it definitely everybody kind of tell me once they get back to the Overlook, the movie ramps up pretty quickly. It's getting to the Overlook that is the part.
Yeah.
So, and for me, it's like, and this goes back to other shows too. If you're telling me I have to sit and wade through stuff to get to the good part, it's more of a turnoff for me. I have to wade through one season before something gets good. Like, no, guys, sorry. So,
I will say one thing. With The Shining, Kubrick had a lot of people have speculated theories on it, with the moon landing, with the twin thing, like, there's 2 coffee cups, and then there's like the different things. There's a great documentary out there called Room 237. If you're a fan of The Shining, I'd highly recommend you check it out, because they find people that are specialists on this, and they analyze the shit out of The Shining, and they decipher and speculate whether if Kubrick faked the moon landing and put it into The Shining. They go through everything. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it is. I've seen it. It is really good. And there's also like I want to say it's on the Blu-ray, like a making of, and it's crazy like how tormented what's her face was. I'm forgetting. Yeah, Shelley Duvall was during, like, she was miserable the whole time in this movie, and I think Nicholson helped that. Like, I think it was to get her like in character pretty much. Then also you have Hong Kong Phooey. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Hong Kong Phooey.
Yeah, man, brothers. Yeah, Jazz the Autobot. Yes,
the Transformers.
I just want to quickly respond to what Brandon just said. Cause a wheel upon which no man may stand for long. So I'm right there with you on that one.
I don't get it.
If you've read the Gunslinger as many times as I have, like that whole Dark Tower series.
I haven't read it. Sorry.
It's okay. I knew what he was going for.
Well, yeah, I'm glad. That's awesome. I don't have time to read it, and I can't figure out words.
Like,
Is it
don't
Steven's turn?
Whose turn is it? It went from James was last.
James was last. Now we have Stevan.
Stevan.
So, Patrick's number 1 was my number 4. My number 4 is The Thing from 1982. Now, I agree with Patrick with everything he said, and I agree it is the greatest sequel of all time. Next, Empire Strikes Back, another great 80s sci-fi movie, but we're not talking sci-fi, we're talking horror. Yes, everything that Patrick said, everything that Kevin said, everything that we've said about it. Again, Leo, see The Thing. Not the 2011 one, not the 1950 whatever one, the 1982 one. It's good.
Sounds like I need to see Shining as well.
You did. What? Jesus.
I will.
Christ.
And he moderates a horror podcast every week.
Don't read the book that it's based on. Who goes there? Because I think it's Joseph Campbell who wrote it. I think that's. I'd have to look it up again.
Campbell.
Yes. Reading it, like, he uses the word bronze over and over and over again. Like, he uses it like 6 times in one sentence to talk about MacReady. It's like, get a goddamn thesaurus. Like, use another word. It's irritating.
Plus Kurt Russell with the beard. It's like the best beard he has. Like, there's 2 beards in all of his movies. There's that beard in The Thing and his beard in The Hateful Eight.
Oh, yeah. Bone Tomahawk's good too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's close to second. But we're talking Kurt Russell beards. It's a tie between The Thing and Hateful Eight. Yeah.
That's an easy statement to make. Yeah.
We were just shortly joined by Phil. Hopefully he'll join us back. For me, the next on my list is Fright Night. Came out in 1985. And after that, little Leo had the biggest crush on Amanda Ears.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so you must have loved Married with Children.
I loved Married with Children, yes.
Who does? What up, Phil?
Hey, Phil.
Guys, how you doing?
So I know you're joining us late. Why don't you give us 2 movies that are on your list?
All right. There's probably a chance that they were already picked because there was a lot of great films, but some of them really go right to the top. I'm going to say Return of the Living Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Evil Dead 2 is definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I will now be scrambling to find other movies on a list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Return was high up on my list. I fucking love that one.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And I do have 3 others I have listed here too, but I'll name them as needed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Evil Dead 2 was definitely on Evil Dead 1 and 2. It was like a toss up between the 2.
I mean, Evil Dead 2, the first 10 minutes is Evil Dead 1.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like a recap.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on a show with Wolfie, right? Like, the reason why they did that is they lost the original footage.
Yep.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
Remember
Remember Ewoks?
Yo.
Did you say yours, Leo?
I did. Fright Night.
Yeah, he said.
Oh. All right. So, The Fly.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The one from the
I have to see that one too. Leo has
The creature freaking terrifies me in that. I love the effects, but
the effects are amazing.
Cronenberg.
He's on the list for a reason. He is very creative.
Did anyone see the SNL last week where Jim Carrey
I
did
was not expecting that. That was hilarious.
Anyways, sorry.
And then Herman Cain came in.
Poor Herman Cain.
Here I am, rock you like a
My
hermit.
turn now. I'm going to go with They Live.
Oh, yes.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it's because just one of the best fight scenes in a horror movie. You have Roddy Piper and I forget the other gentleman's name, but it's pretty great. They parodied it shot for shot on South Park.
Keith David.
Sure, I don't know. And
that's not the guy's name, Keith David.
Okay. And then just the visual when you're wearing the glasses, the visual, like it's iconic. I think Yo-Yo, you have a pin of someone as that person. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's a really good movie, and it's an easy watch, and it's a go-to.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not necessarily.
I actually just bought that on the Blu-ray, the Scream Factory, collector's edition. I just bought that about 3 weeks ago, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
And they just released another version, a 4K one with an action figure of Keith David.
That's right. That's right. That's why I was probably able to get it on sale, because they got the new one that they're pushing. So, yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, They Live was another one of those that was on that list of explain a movie terribly, and I was like, construction worker gets new glasses that helps him see better. But Phil took one of mine, Return of the Living Dead, one of my favorites. So I'm going to go with another zombie film that came out the same year and shares much of the same title, Day of the Dead. It's my favorite of all the Romero films. Just such a high quality film. Some of the best zombie kills of all time. I mean, Rhodes' death at the end, just phenomenal. Even Steele getting his face ripped off, like that was amazing too. Not Steele, his friend. Yeah, like so good. And Bub is right up there with the Tarman and Big Daddy as my favorite zombies.
Did you know I'm related to Steele by marriage?
Yes, I was on that podcast with you.
Oh, you were? Okay.
I was at Leo's wedding. I was in Leo's wedding where he was there as well.
Yeah, and you didn't come to the after party when he was singing.
I didn't.
No, I didn't either. Okay. I wasn't included.
That was before you knew him.
Still, though.
All right, good point. You got a point. Yeah. You've won this round, Patrick.
James.
For me, I definitely have to keep going down the Stephen King train, and I have to say Pet Sematary.
Ooh. Yes.
It's just one of those. For me, it comes down to like the first time I saw that movie. I remember it was me in my friend's basement. A bunch of us were watching the movie, and it was like in the middle of summer, and we had like a blackout, like right when the kid at the end goes, "Not fair," and then all the lights go. We're like, "What the hell?" Like, and again, this is the first time I've seen it, and like a bunch of us were just like not expecting, because the power just went off like randomly in the neighborhood. But it's still like that first time when you're watching the scene and the truck flies by, that initial like kind of jump scare, like, oh, this is not going to be good. And then like just some of the scenes, and then I always joke around. I always brought back that you don't want to go down that road. Bad things happen down that road. Like that whole like main like drawl. It's a good movie. I know the remake's been on my list to watch since they announced it.
Yeah, just watch the original again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not horrible, but it's just not warranted. Like, there's very few like remakes that are actually, I think, decent. I mean, it wasn't.
Well, I have a feeling because it was such a hit, you're going to start seeing remakes of Stephen King movies, and you've already started seeing it. So
I enjoyed it. I thought the It movies were actually probably better than the miniseries.
Definitely. Yeah. So mine is Pet Sematary.
Angelina says, were you talking about Ju-on when you said The Grudge?
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Somebody might have. I drift in and out. I will say, James, have you seen the meme with Judd the Pet Cemetery meme where he's like, "Oh, stay away from there. Hey, want to see a cool trick with your cat?"
I've seen this like, oh, something wrong with your cat. You don't want to go there, but I will show you the way and I will take you there.
Don't go down there. Here, follow me.
Basically.
Just whatever you do, don't go by yourself because it's totally cursed and bad.
That would be
map.
bad.
And then here's a map.
Yeah.
Crazy kid.
Here's a flashlight. Watch out for
You know,
Herman Munster.
Dude, nothing terrible is ever going to happen to me and my Achilles. Who would ever thought that was going to happen?
Oh boy,
really
you love walking around.
I want to make sure I get some of that Moxie soda.
Stuff's gross.
Oh, that's good stuff, dude.
What?
Carbonated trees.
Yeah, I love that stuff, man.
Ugh. How do you have teeth?
It tastes good. It tastes good.
Steven.
Surprised no one mentioned this yet, but my number 3 is from 1986, a little movie called Aliens.
Damn it, that was my number 2.
Damn it.
This is a prime example that 79, 80, 81, 82, 3, 4, 5. You take 8 years to make this, wait to make a sequel. You just ties that bind, you know. Take your time with it, get an ensemble cast. Perfect. You know. You know, it's just the perfect slow burn of a movie, and it builds up right in the middle, and just the finale's like a double ending. It's just fantastic. I mean, what else is there to say?
Anybody else have Aliens?
No.
Patrick said that was your number 2. No.
Yeah,
I considered it a action film at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I consider that
I wouldn't necessarily put it hard. I mean, I can get
I
it.
still consider it hard.
I hadn't. I actually saw that for the first time over the last maybe 4 years. I hadn't seen any of the Alien movies, so I'm the worst. Hence my T-shirt that I have in the other room. I'm not wearing it. I should have. Again, that's an example of me being the worst. I should have worn it.
Well, I'm gonna follow Aliens because my others were mentioned, so I'm gonna pull from my honorable mentions. Predator.
Oh, that was on my list too.
I'm sorry.
I don't consider that horror.
Yeah, that's another action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one that can go either way.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I think horror movies, that's neither that doesn't pop into my mind. I mean, I enjoy the movie a lot, but it doesn't. It's a gory action movie.
No, I think of it as a horror.
I mean, you're being hunted slowly by an otherworldly creature that is rip your spine and your skull out of your head.
Yeah, and can we use the Venn diagram where a film can be in multiple categories? So I would consider it horror. Sure.
I'm just saying myself when I think horror movie, that doesn't even come to my mind. It's just me. I can understand why other people would consider it that, but it didn't even dawn on me.
Well, you know, I'm a wuss to begin with, so.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to see people losing their limbs then.
Bill, what's your number 3?
All right. Well, we've been speaking a lot of King and Cronenberg. The Dead Zone.
Oh, it's a good time.
Yeah, that was a great one, I felt. So it has a great sociopath performance by Martin Sheen, and Christopher Walken does his best Christopher Walken, and of course the directing itself is fantastic and a very good screenplay.
Nice. I think Christopher Walken won the award for best Christopher Walken that year. If I remember correctly.
The Flanders Zone.
Nobody's in the audience, oh, please.
It was between him and Jay Moore.
Yo.
So Werewolf in London.
God damn it! That was literally the next one on my list. Son of a bitch.
I think now it's just let's see if we can name something no one else has said.
Now, I'm literally looking.
No, that's definitely on my list.
It's on my list too. If For shit's sake.
It should be on your list. It's a really good one.
Yeah, it is. Actually, when I did my
Gradually decaying
31 Days of
friend.
Horror, when I did my 31 Days of Horror a few years ago, Kevin actually reviewed that with me. So,
God damn it! Now I'm
I
looking.
mean, one of the greatest werewolf transformations of all time, and
agree,
it gave us the greatest music video of all time.
The whatchamacallit? Some people argue that The Howling has a better transformation, but I haven't seen The Howling, so fuck them.
I mean, it's good, and it's
it's really good. Yeah.
What's his name? Rob Bottin from The Thing, who did that.
Yes, it is.
So I almost said Dan O'Bannon. I knew that was wrong. Dan O'Bannon was the guy from The Alien who did Return of the Living Dead.
That's correct.
Kevin, you trying to find one?
Yes. All right, I got one. It's a Stephen King one too.
Okay.
Maximum Overdrive. Stephen King is the spookiest. Right? He directed that one, and he was extremely messed up on cocaine during that.
yeah.
That is correct.
It's a hell of a drug, and it's a hell of a movie.
James, I don't think we can hear you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, wasn't that the one like he wrote and directed, and he was like, I'm not going to let them ruin one of my stories, so I'll just ruin it myself.
Well, I think it's worth it just to hear Lisa Simpson scream as a person throughout the whole movie because all she does is yell.
Yeah, Yardley Smith.
Yeah. And it's very annoying, but it's still a fun movie. I think it's fun. Emilio Estevez.
Excuse me.
And the green truck.
Yeah. That truck. I had a Matchbox car of that truck when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah. It's gone.
Well, probably.
In my yard, in the house that I grew up in.
Ooh.
Yeah. Who's next? I'm done.
Patrick.
I will say, though, with Maximum Overdrive, the story was based on trucks. One of my favorite stories he wrote.
Really?
All right, so I've got 5 left on my list that haven't been said, so I'm going to try and pick one that no one else is going to pick, and I'm going to go with Deep Star 6 from 1989 with Peter Coyote. This is one that tantalized me for many, many years, going to the video store up the street from us and seeing it. It was just like this really deep diving suit, but it was like half, and it was just kind of like floating up on the VHS cover. And I always thought it was the coolest VHS cover, but I was too young to rent it. My parents would never rent it for me. So I finally got to see it a couple of years ago, and it was everything I hoped it would be. And it weaseled its way into my heart. Deep Star 6, 1989.
Isn't that coming out on Blu-ray in like next week for the first time?
Oh, that I did not know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And this is the one that was directed by the guy that did Friday the 13th, Cunningham?
I think so.
Yeah. Deep Star 6. I'll tell you all this information. I have something called the internet.
What? Wait a minute. You have
What?
internet? You're fancy.
I know, huh? So this one, it comes out next week. I already had pre-ordered it, and it is by Cunningham. Yeah, so.
Cunningham. Oh, it's not Coyote. I don't know why I thought Peter Coyote. Probably because I was thinking of like confusing him because he was in Sphere, but Miguel Ferrer was in it.
That is absolutely right. Yep. From the Ferrer family, big family in Hollywood. His father was an Academy Award winner.
And Angelina, I believe he copied your comment. I that may be the item.
Right.
Question in the chat.
Okay.
I think we're on James, right?
Sure.
Yep. I have for my next one is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
All right.
I've not seen
It's a
that in
good
such
one.
a long time.
Not a big fan. I like visually. I think it's really like fun.
No, you are a person.
Correct. But I don't know. I mean, I understand the light. I mean, it's cool looking, but I don't know. It never did anything for me personally. But,
I just think for me, it was one of those things where I didn't know what it was till I saw it, and I kind of enjoy some of the silliness of it. And I think that's what it is. A couple of the things that kind of scenes that always bring mind to me is the shadow puppet that eats like the random group of people, and then the ventriloquist act with the guy with like the cop is the ventriloquist and stuff. Just silly stuff like that. I'm like, this is a ridiculous horror movie, and that's kind of what I did. It was so campy, so funny. And it's just kind of like one of those like random ones that you're like, let's watch this movie. You're like, why are we watching this?
Yeah.
And like everybody laughs at the same parts, and everyone's like, oof, like it's just kind of ridiculous. So
I also haven't seen it in a wicked long time, so maybe I'll give it another shot. To be honest with you, it's been years.
Myself.
What's that?
I just watched it for the first time myself in August.
Oh yeah, and you enjoyed it?
A lot of fun.
Okay, I'll give it another shot. I promise.
Have a good night, Angelina.
Take care.
Have fun in the UK.
Actually, good morning, I believe it is.
Yeah, good morning.
Crikeys.
Steven?
I believe I have 2 left. So my number 2 is Reanimator.
Ooh, good.
Good times.
So I think it's an interesting concept, even though it's based off of an H.P. Lovecraft concept as well. But some of the facts that I came to understand after seeing it, they use the glow stick stuff for the the serum, and then the giving head to Barbara Crampton, and that's that whole thing. It's a really good movie. I enjoy it.
Brandon said, just stepping back one fun fact: the clown costumes were repainted for Ernest Scared Stupid.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, since most of mine were said,
so I got to have 14 just in case.
I know. So I'm gonna need help.
You said 10. I was like 10. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I wish I had 10.
So I'm gonna need help to figure out which number this one is. This is just pure nostalgia. I believe it's Friday the 13th 3, where he was brought back to life by lightning. They were trying to dig.
That was 6.
That was 6.
Yes.
Or cut it in half and double it.
Okay. So that was probably not in the 80s, right?
No, it was.
It was? Okay. Then I'll go and see.
Yeah, they were putting them out like almost one a year.
Yeah. I remember watching them. I'd like get a couple and play them on this little TV we had in the front room, and it was like real crappy reception and stuff like that. And yeah, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, that one was the final of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, and they decided to bring him back after people were so pissed off with Part 5 and the fact that Jason wasn't in it, kind of like Halloween 3.
My favorite Halloween, you mean?
Yeah,
it is.
Colleen says she's a little late. Did anybody mention Stephen King's Silver Bullet? No,
I was going to. Thanks, Tom. No, I wasn't going to.
That's a werewolf movie too, right? I think.
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I saw it at the theaters. That's how old I am.
Whoa!
I did.
Wow.
You did with a hit. You had to get in with a wooden nickel. That's how old.
Yes.
Trying to move.
Well, actually
half a
how I
halfpenny.
did it. We didn't have wooden nickels. What we did, we traded. So I gave them fruit, and they gave me the theater experience.
I happen to have a couple of beaver pelts that I changed for.
Exactly. There you go.
There was a guy in the corner, like, with coconuts to make horse sounds.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Figured
right.
I'd add to that.
Playing the piano.
Yeah.
So what's your number? Was it number 2?
Sure.
Phil. What's your
Oh,
next?
it's me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I have, and I'm pretty sure this one it's easily as good as all the films we've discussed, but a lot of people forget it because they always look at some of his other films. and it is a foreign film. But Dario Argento's Tenebra.
Oh, Tenebra, yes.
I personally like it as my favorite Dario Argento film, actually, and it's true like midnight movie. You know, it's got the awesome kills. It has, I guess, the female nudity and whatnot, and it has the cult following as well. And it's I guess a later era giallo too. So it's a solid film. Yeah.
Nice. Yo, and actually, I'm gonna start this off with the last batch of movies. As we stated, middle of this is not our list of, so this is not your top one, but it can be, maybe. But what is your final one? Yo-Yo?
Definitely not want a top one, but Stuff.
Oh, the Stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
time.
anything about mindless consumerism. Yeah.
And Garrett Morris.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with
Garrett
Garrett
Morris.
Morris.
Nah. I celebrate his entire
Charlie
catalog.
chocolate chip. Yeah.
Way to ruin everything, Brandon.
He wants to know if the audio listeners, anyone mentioned Hellraiser, a true 80s horror.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I have. It's not on my list. I enjoy it, but it's not a go-to for me. But I do enjoy it. And I have a box of Lament somewhere around here. I misplaced my box of Lament. Sorry, guys. It's my turn now, right?
It is.
I'm gonna go with a made-for-TV movie. I don't know if that qualifies, but Manhunter.
Boo!
I hate your face.
Manhunter is the worst adaptation of anything that I've ever seen, ever.
Well, I've never read the book, so sorry.
Oh, they changed the ending. They changed the characters. This is
the first time I'm hearing that because I've never read the book.
That's okay.
I enjoyed the movie. It's like Miami Vice horror movie. It's great. It's cheesy. It's 80s.
I do like Brian Cox as Lecter, though. It's a nice take on him.
As Lecter.
What'd you say?
I hate Brian Cox as Lecter.
Well, now we know what to get Patrick for Christmas.
X2 dolls of Brian Cox character.
Yeah,
Striker.
Brian Cox, and it's gonna name his penis Brian. I'm gonna have that arranged where I just rename his penis to Brian.
Let's see if he's on Cameo and get him a nice little thing for him being like.
I don't like Brian Cox. I just don't like him as Hannibal Lecter.
Just be like, hey, this is Brian Cox, aka Hannibal Lecter. Just want to wish you a happy Merry New Year. And by the way, and then he just says something, and he's like, your penis is now named Brian.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that,
Well, let's try to pool our money together, see if we can get that on Cameo.
I'm sure he's got nothing else going on right now.
No, none of these guys. That's why they're all on Cameo.
Yeah, Tom Noonan. Tom Noonan's in it. Good stuff.
He was very good as Francis Dollarhide. I'll give you that.
Yeah, Tom Noonan's the man. Everything I've seen him in, top notch.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah,
he's a good actor. Yeah.
So I think we're on Patrick.
So,
boo!
If you want to hear more,
how do you like it? So.
If you want to hear more of my thoughts on what I thought of Manhunter, check out tomorrow's episode of Throwdown Thursday because we're talking Hannibal Lecter. So that's a great segue.
Oh, there you go.
I will also say, because Hellraiser was mentioned, because I was going to mention that, the regeneration scene, one of the greatest practical effects scene in cinematic history. But I'm going to use another one that's on my list, and this is also another fun segue. So, Kevin, thank you for mentioning Tom Noonan, who played Frankenstein's monster in 1987's The Monster Squad, one of my favorite films of all time. And for those of you who are unaware, there is a documentary that Andre Gower put together, Andre Gower playing Sean, the lead kid there, called Wolfman's Got Nards, that comes out on October 27th. And we are actually going to be sitting down with Mr. Gower and talking to him about that documentary. And that's going to be next week's episode of Throwdown Thursday. So if you like The Monster Squad, definitely tune in next week. So.
And if you like Tom Noonan, congratulations, he's great.
Yeah. Colleen's excited.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
James.
All right, for my last one, I kind of went a little bit outside the box on this one, but it's just a fun movie, and I've kind of just rediscovered it probably in the last 5 years. Little Shop of Horror.
Ooh.
Rick Moranis is fantastic. Steve Martin's fantastic. The whole puppetry with Audrey too is fantastic. Even it's an even better movie once you see the real ending. That is just so much more enjoyable. So for me, that's definitely a fun horror movie to watch. I know they're remaking it, which I'm really curious to see how that's going to be. But like I said, it's a different movie. It's a fun movie. It's definitely, it has its horror elements. I mean, it has horror, the title, the name's in the title, but it's a lot more fun. And I always considered it very much the alternative to Rocky Horror, in my opinion. I've seen both, but like I'd gravitate more towards Little Shop than I do Rocky Horror. So,
I mean, both solid.
Honestly, I would have to say I love the alternative, like the what should have been
the true ending where the plants take over.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, I'm a fan of bleak things.
I like this Colleen character. I like her a lot.
Colleen is a phenomenal human being. When my cat knocked my TV off the stand and shattered it, Colleen was like, I have an extra TV that you may have. And now I have TV. Colleen is a phenomenal human being.
Nice.
Well, great minds right there. Where I'm a phenomenal human being.'s a phenomenal human being. We both like,
you guys both like.
I'm just going to throw it out. If you have any extra TVs, let me know.
Same here. I could use a couple extra TVs.
I'm just kidding. I don't need TVs. I have enough.
So Colleen's comment for the audio listeners: James had the best movie pick because that's my absolute favorite horror comedy film.
But you all know that's not my favorite horror comedy film.
That's true, but it's a very good film. It's very.
It is.
No one did.
I didn't mention either of my two favorite horror comedy films.
You figured someone else would?
No, because I thought we were doing more horror. Then as we kind of went off the path of not doing horror movies, I was like, oh, I'm going to change my list a little bit.
If there was like 3 of us on the show, we probably could have done it like a top 10. But there's 7 of us, so a lot of people's like picks were taken by someone else. So we had to expand the list a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, the good thing is, get more people involved, different shows and stuff like that, and just spread the love. Right.
Anyway.
Anywho, Steve, I think you're up next.
Esteban?
First off, when I was talking about Friday Part 5, I do want to reiterate when I was talking about Halloween 3, I do like Halloween 3, so apologies to Brandon in the comments. I didn't mean to rustle anyone's jimmies or anything like that. I do enjoy Halloween 3.
Jimmies? Come on, dude. Like, don't make fun of my name. Come on.
My number 1 is Halloween 2 from 1981. Because if you put 78 Halloween and the 1981 sequel together, it's a perfect 2-hour movie. Think about it.
You're right. 6 times.
Yeah, you could watch it together 6 times. But if you think about it and you don't put, if you don't watch any of the other movies and you just watch those 2, it's like a perfect, beginning, middle, and a finale. So I think that you have so many great 80s horror films. To me, that is one of my favorite. I agree with you, Brandon. It is the best of the series. But Halloween 3 is a close second.
I'm going to say Halloween 3 is the only one of the series that I enjoy.
You and Donovan.
If we were talking 90s horror, then I would put Halloween H2O up at the top, like close to the top.
Are you kidding me?
What?
All right. So,
Kevin, look up Donovan. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I don't know if I want
Just Google Donovan.
Because that would make a great 3-hour movie because it would go 1, 2, H2O.
Which one is Busta Rhymes in?
That
H2O.
we don't talk about that one. That's Resurrection.
Oh, no, Resurrection. Resurrection.
No, he's in Resurrection where they killed Laurie Strode,
Yeah.
but then
Well,
they
what's
make
the
Halloween.
Busta-
Doesn't work.
So I'm just really curious. The new timeline of Halloween goes Halloween, kills,
Yep.
and then Halloween
ends.
and
Yes, call LN. Colleen?
Colleen.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, she says ending with Michael burning to death to the credits with Mr. Sandman playing was the best.
I'm sorry. It's one franchise I just can't. I don't know. I've tried. I have the Shout Factory or Scream Factory box set, and it doesn't. I've tried, and I just don't care about it.
If you have the Shout Factory box set, or you can get the Shout Factory box set, or you can get them films together, then watch.
I have it.
Halloween 2. It's 2 discs, but it had the Halloween 2 TV version, and there's like a nice ending to Halloween 2.
But what I don't like about it is I don't find it scary or tense at all. Like what people love about it, it doesn't affect me in that way at all. But it's just me. I know that it's not a common. I mean, whatever it is, what it is. I've tried, and it doesn't do anything for me. That's all.
It doesn't have to. That's why they make chocolate and vanilla.
Right. And Tums. I just eat a handful of Tums instead. Chocolate covered Tums.
Chocolate covered raisins.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm shocked my number one has not been picked.
What about Phil? I forgot Phil number 1.
Phil's gonna close us out.
Okay.
Jesus.
And I know he didn't pick mine, so.
Back
The Revenge of Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah.
Christmas holiday special.
I don't have an obsession. I promise you. Okay, so I used to read up on this subject when I was a kid. I saw this at the drive-in, and it absolutely scared the shit out of me in the beginning. And I know it's not a horror. Ghostbusters. The library scene scared the crap out of little Leo. But I was like big into ghosts at the time. I was reading books on them, and I was like, and it was even raining in the drive-in. They tried to give us vouchers, but I said, no, I'm staying. We're staying. I want to watch this. And
We did kind of touch on it earlier with James, but yeah, it's a great movie. It's the first movie I ever bought, ever, with my own money. I bought it on VHS for $35, and first movie I ever bought.
I have purchased Ghostbusters. Let's see. I bought Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on VHS and DVD in the 15th anniversary editions. I bought the 25th, the 30th, and the 35th versions of all these movies. I have the Blu-ray, the DVD, the 4K.
Yeah.
I'm only missing the Laserdisc and the Betamax. That's it.
Yeah.
Really?
It was the first movie I rented from the library as a kid. The second
I'd never seen it. I didn't see it in the theater. I wanted to see it, and then when it was out for purchase on VHS, I saved my allowance and I got it. It was in one of the big boxes that opened from the side, like it was an actual box. And I remember it costing $35, and I wore it out. Like I legit watched so much that the tape broke.
For me, the one thing I regret is I don't have the black cover box like you did, Kevin.
Yeah.
I don't have that version of the tape. That's the one I definitely want to find. I know you can download the DVD. They made DVD box art to match that style.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, it's a fun movie. Like I said, I still enjoy it. We took the boys to see it at the drive-in this summer, and they loved it. Wes enjoyed it. I mean, he's seen the cartoon, a bunch of times, and he sat down and we watched a couple parts of it. But for me, it's once you get past that original scare in the library scene, it's really tame. I feel like from there on out. Like
Yeah, but well, there's that, and then there's the cab driver.
But that's not a real like startle like the ghost scene is like the library scene,
right? But still, it's nightmare inducing when you're a child. You know,
but hey, just rewatch it before you see Afterlife. This coming out whenever.
Okay, coming out whenever o'clock.
So
there you go.
Oh, nice.
I have my Lego set that I won from the Massachusetts Ghostbusters still sitting up there. I haven't built it yet. I don't know if I want to build it.
So Lego is coming out with, you've seen the Lego cars they have, like the Aston Martin. They're coming out with an Ecto one next year.
Nice.
It's supposed to tie into the the movie and stuff. So
cool.
That's gonna be like $250. So I'll be like, good.
Well, the one up there, I mean, I don't know. It's really nice. I actually don't want to know. I don't want to open it.
Well, I think they don't make that. That's a discontinued set.
Oh, really?
So you can't even find that. It's like people buy those for like a stupid amount of money because like you have Lego collectors and stuff. Yeah. But no, like I said today, Jason Reitman's they're doing the score to the movie, and they actually have the original composer's son is helping out with the composing the new score. So cool. A lot of callbacks to the original one, which is really cool. So we'll see. They say March 2021.
You think they'll go VOD on it?
Sony stated earlier on, which I'm surprised that they're even releasing Monster Hunter. They stated that there was no movies going to be in theaters till the pandemic was over. Yeah. And now that Regal closed their cinemas, it's just AMC, and then AMC released a statement that saying they're probably not going to survive the year, even though they're open. So
Cinemark is pretty much the last one standing.
Showcase is open.
So
the small independent ones over here are still open.
One of them in West Boylston is open only for popcorn on Saturdays.
We have Mystic that's open.
Yeah, Agawam Cinemas in Springfield just opened finally, and they're doing like limited showing, but they were doing popcorn and candy and stuff like drive up.
Yep.
So, but like I said, I'm excited. I definitely want to. I'm waiting to see that one. Like I said, who knows when it's coming out. For me, I thought that movie was going to be on VOD the second everything shut down. I'm like, that's an easy Sony. Like, we're going to throw it on VOD because it's Ghostbusters, and you're going to get the buys pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But like Jason Reitman said, it just gives him more time to tweak a movie, and hopefully he doesn't over tweak it, which sometimes the delay can happen. But
yeah. Well, there's always hope because Disney announced they're moving more towards streaming, and
well, they just laid off 29,000 employees, so they better be focused on streaming.
And Amazon looks like they're buying Coming to America 2 to go to streaming. So you never know.
That's where all that cyber or their Prime Day money's going to buying Coming to America 2.
Yeah, exactly. Straight to the I think
it's on. I have Prime, so I get free shipping on that, right?
Yeah, I think they're buying it for $250 million.
Oh, hopefully they keep their receipt and there's a return policy.
It's coming to America to Kevin for free.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, I think someone mentioned if Poltergeist mentioned that was the first one that I that was the first one that I mentioned. Poltergeist. I think it was a comment about Poltergeist.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and it would have been number one if I wasn't so what's the word I'm looking for? Stupid and said it first.
I apologize. I couldn't find because I rearranged the studio. Couldn't find my Bill Murray signed copy of Ghostbusters.
Well, must be nice to let us all down like that.
Yeah.
There's another episode he whips it out numerous times to show us before.
So he whips it out. You're talking about his
Bill Murray. No. He pulled out his William Murray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By the way, Brandon Cox is not on Cameo. I checked.
Well, his name is. What about Brian Cox?
Yeah. What about Brian? Have you looked up that?
No, I didn't.
And it's Cox with 3 X's at the end. And Patrick, did you know the story about how Bill Murray was hanging out? He was asleep on a couch in Showcase Blackstone one time. My friend Jeff worked there, and he was meeting his niece for a movie, and he showed up wicked early, and he was hanging out in the little like lounge area and fell asleep on the couch. They have it on video, or they had it on video.
That was probably sometime around 2006 through 2009, somewhere in there.
1985 and 2020, I'm gonna guess. No, I don't know. I have no idea when it was.
2008 is when I got my stuff signed. So
yeah, I mean, he was in the area. I guess.
Go watch that. What is it? Prime. That was it. A Prime movie about the Bill Murray, the Legend of Bill Murray, or whatever it is.
We knew someone who did a movie about Bill Murray, didn't we?
Sadie Katz was doing the Bill Murray experiment.
Yeah.
So my friend Chris Beaumont's in that, as they interviewed him being like the guy who had to work when his buddies played like pool or bowling with Bill Murray that night, and he's literally on the camera being like, "Yep, I had to work and I missed that day," and that's his only like little thing in the movie. And he's a Ghostbuster fan of mine, and he's like, "Yep, I had to work."
So I see you just found it.
I did. It was underneath a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that's where I put my Bill Murray autographs too, underneath a bunch of stuff.
You open it up and it's there.
If I was Bill Murray, I would have signed the shiny side.
They got me a free. He signed everything that was in here. So Stripes and Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters, which I ended up giving away most of them for wedding gifts. But the Stripes version actually got me a free autograph from PJ Souls at Rock and Shock a few years ago, because she's like, "Yo, that's a fake autograph because Bill Murray doesn't sign anything." And I was like, "Well, when his son really likes you, he does." So that's my story.
Bill.
All right. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of films I was considering, and this isn't necessarily my favorite, but it's a top 5, if not a top 10. And I was looking at Henry Portrait of Serial Killer, but I decided to go with Basket Case, because that one is more of a grindhouse or midnight movie than horror, but it is definitely a horror film and somewhat of a cult classic. It actually holds a really good 80% or so on Rotten Tomatoes, and Frank Henenlotter is really good, if a director, if not prolific. And this movie, I've watched like 3 or 4 times, just because it's just a fun film as well as a good horror film.
I agree. I like it quite a bit as well.
Mm-hmm. I got a chance to interview Kevin Van Hentenryck recently, like a couple months ago, and he's talking about what he wants to do for the 4th one. So I'm really excited for that.
Interesting.
Nice.
You need to see that one too.
It's on my Plex. Actually, all 3 of them are.
I was going to say the 4th one's not. Disappointed nobody said the Twilight Zone movie.
Oh, yeah.
Another one with Batman Crothers.
I was debating Toxic Avenger. I was debating that one.
Actually, where is it? Right there. It's on my list.
Nice.
Twilight Zone movie, just because John Lithgow is fantastic in it. And then the whole
Dan Aykroyd.
Yep, Dan Aykroyd's in it. But I always felt like the Twilight Zone movie is one of those, people who've seen it or you've stumbled upon it, and that's what I did. I kind of stumbled upon it. Like I think it was like one of those afternoon TNT movies or TBS or Monster Vision movies, like one of those random movies that were just on. And I kind of was like, "Oh, what's this?" And when I found out it was like retelling of classic Twilight Zone episodes, modernized, I was like, "That's awesome!" And then especially John Lithgow doing the William Shatner Terror at 30,000 feet was just awesome. I also think the more I've watched John Lithgow lately and some of his older stuff, he's just fantastic. So.
Yeah, he was great in Dexter. But before we continue, I wanted to talk about Basket Case for a second. 2 of the comments. Brandon said, Basket Case is a good pick, cult favorite with a very unique story and wonderful stop motion. Colleen said, great pick. Basket Case was always a fun one to watch. So
yes.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's real fuzzy feeling too. It makes you feel dirty, just like Maniac. Makes you feel like you're in a bad spot when you watch it. It's great that it can actually like affect you that way. It's
it has a great right. I mean, it is the Deuce back. You know, when the Deuce was the Deuce. You know, the 42nd Street and Times Square. You know, when it was still a dirty, crappy place, and
it was like strip clubs every other door down, and it was just
exactly
like drugs and crime everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Saturday
exactly.
Night is a good pick.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Anything else that we didn't mention that you guys are shocked wasn't on anybody's list?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. That was on my list. Yeah.
That's one that I go iffy with. Do I consider it like a horror?
See, I consider that more comedy than horror.
Yeah,
It's the same. I always consider that as the same vein as Ghostbusters.
I love them, but yeah.
No, it's definitely like, it was funny. Like I think I watched Beetlejuice a couple weekends ago, and it was like I watched like the non-edited version. Like I watched it on like Blu-ray, and I sat there, I was like, it's so much like it's so edited on TV, not for like negative reasons, but like they have like jokes that go like 1 second a little bit longer that makes the scene a little bit more enjoyable. So it's you're right. It's one of those things like, yeah, there are horror elements about it, but you can say the same thing I had on my list, Tim Burton's Vincent.
Mhm.
You know, Tim Burton's stop motion short about Vincent Price, or the kid who liked Vincent Price, narrated by Vincent Price. I'm like, that's an awesome thing. But again, is that a horror film, or is that just dabble in the base of horror because of the way it's animated?
Right.
So, you know, you can kind of go down that spiral. Same thing with Aliens and Predator. Is that more horror, or is that more action sci-fi? So
I have one, and I'm surprised no one mentioned this, but it's kind of a rare oddity, kind of a rare gem. Actually, my girlfriend introduced me to this one about a month and a half ago. Robert Englund in Phantom of the Opera.
I'm unaware of that one.
I know of it. I've never seen it, but yeah, I know.
It is the only adaptation that isn't a musical. I don't think. I haven't seen any of the other ones, but it's Robert Englund being Robert Englund, but it's kind of like Phantom of the Opera-esque. It's pretty good. I would find it. I'd find it if you can. It's.
I'm sure it's on Leo's Plex.
No, but it will be.
Yeah. No, but give me a minute.
The other two are on there. I just put on the 1925 version, and where's the other one? It's like 1930 something, I think.
Yeah, it's the one that's in the regular Universal set, which I was upset with because I thought it was the older one.
Yeah, this is a 1989 movie, and it was made for TV.
I want to bring up something that Colleen wrote something, and I noticed she picked it in a poll earlier, Lady in White, and I'm sorry to say I hated that movie.
Really?
Yeah, and I saw her name picking it, and I was like, how could she pick that movie? It's so terrible. But it's just me. It's just me.
So speaking of the poll, we did place a poll, and let me pull it up here. So out of the list, Nightmare on Elm Street was rated number 1 in the poll. Then Gremlins, The Thing, Poltergeist, and They Live were tied, along with Reanimator. And then people put in Aliens, Evil Dead 2, Friday the 13th, Lady in White by Colleen, Creep Show, The Howling, Return of the Living Dead.
That's me. I put Return of the Living Dead.
Silver Bullet, My Bloody Valentine, American Wolf. Wow, we got a ton of them. Yeah, Fright Night, The Gate wasn't mentioned. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
I have Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I just haven't watched it. I think isn't Gunnar Hansen in that? I think.
Oh, what about Chopping Mall? Did anybody mention that one? That's a good one.
It's fun. I mean, I don't know. It's campy 80s. I mean, it's definitely 80s. It's a fun movie. I wouldn't necessarily put it up there as like one of my favorites, but it's a good time. We had the director on that one time, and he only wanted to come on for 15 minutes, and he stayed for the whole hour.
Yeah. Also on the list, Black Roses and Slumber Party Massacre.
There's a lot. There's just a lot out there.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
I mean, of course, we're going towards all the big mainstream stuff mostly, but there's so much other, like, just really, we should have been like, all right, let's keep this really low budget and find some really cool low budget 80s horror.
Deep.
Well,
I just recently mentioned one that you guys haven't even heard of. So,
right.
What?
Well, to be honest though, I see what you're saying, Kevin, but you know what it is? It's if you look at the best films,
Right.
that everybody likes, oddly, probably not oddly, actually, everybody likes the same films because they're great films. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, with I don't know. I mean, it would be cool. It would be more challenging, I think, for us to come up with lists of that. But
yeah,
Look at the Demons.
now
as
it's
a
more
column.
challenging to come up with a list that we don't all have the same list. But
I have Colleen just wrote on the comments, and I want to read it because it's only fair after what I said about her pick for the poll. She goes, haha, Philip, you're not wrong in hindsight for sure, but as a kid whose parents forget her at school before I watched this movie not long after, and the kid getting locked in the school closet forgotten and then witnessing a spectral murder was horrifying to me. Also, the mother was so creepy. So that's all fair points. Yeah, that's a terrible story. I'm sorry, Colleen.
Has that happened to anybody? Did your parents
has anyone been locked in something and witnessed a murder? Anyone?
or forgotten at school?
Yeah, forgotten at school. I think that's what she's referring to.
I my parents worked, so I had to find my own way. I had to take the city bus when I was in like 3rd grade. So that was fun.
I had to walk everywhere.
I walked.
Well, I took the city bus. Correction, I took the city bus because I was kicked out of school in 3rd grade, and they sent me to a school across the city because that was the only school that would take me. So it was because of my own doing, getting expelled in 3rd grade, that I had to do that.
Damn, I always knew you were a wild child.
I legit got expelled for fighting. I would like get into horrible fistfights every day. Yay! Now I'm on medication. So, I also want to put that there's a lot of movies that I would have mentioned, but I was kind of keeping it at 80s movies from that infected me when I was a child, almost too. Because like Evil Dead was on my list as like an honorable mention, even though I absolutely love it. But I was in high school the first time I saw Evil Dead, so I don't consider that like growing up watching Evil Dead.
Well, when you were in high school, that was also close to the 80s. It was in the 90s.
Right, but what I'm saying, like, I'm thinking of when I was a kid, the movies that affected me,
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's all.
Okay. The only one on my list that nobody mentioned, Swamp Thing.
Oh.
Yeah, Wes Craven. Wes Craven.
I've only seen it once, and it's been a very long time. I should see it again. I haven't seen it forever.
Deadly Friend for me. I had that, but I was sure someone was going to say it.
Yeah.
Yo-Yo, anything on your list nobody mentioned?
No, not really, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I mean, that's to know we share taste in movies. And
I came in late.
Movies that Leo has not seen.
I came in late, so I'm just curious if The Thing, Friday the 13th, and The Shining were picked because I had those on my list.
The Thing and The Shining were.
Right, and Friday the 13th was not mentioned.
One of them was.
So Phil, my shirt.
Part 6.
We mentioned.
Okay. Well, yeah, I heard part 3 or 6. Yeah, I heard that, but I was just curious if the first one, because that one I liked really a lot.
How about a really, really bad parody 80s horror movie? Student Bodies? Anyone?
Nope.
Was that the one where the killer counter kept on going?
Killer counter. They killed people with wooden horse head bookends. There was a janitor named Albert, and he peed red.
So my friend worked at Best Buy, and there was a time where he would rent like the worst, not Best Buy, Blockbuster, yes. And every weekend he'd rent like the worst movie that they had, and we ended up watching that one weekend.
Yeah, I have it on Blu-ray if anyone's interested. it's so bad. It's racist, and it's like just really, really bad. I'm just like, wow, this movies things that just wouldn't get away with now, but it's ridiculous. I don't know. Anyways.
What was the name of that one? Was that Student Bodies?
Yeah, Student Bodies.
Okay.
Sometimes he's red. And there was the guy disguises his voice by talking into a rubber chicken. And then he ends the call by just going click. They're like, did you hang up on me? No, I just said click. Then he hangs up. It's pretty bad. So bad, it's great.
What about you, Patrick? Anything that was not mentioned?
Just Deadly Friend, the Wes Craven movie about the kid who puts the robot into his dead girlfriend's brain. I saw that. I was counting down the time until it was time for me to take my, because I had an ear infection. I had to take amoxicillin. I think I was about 8 at the time, and I just really liked it. It had Mama Fratelli from the Goonies, and it was just like she got her head smashed by a basketball because apparently putting a robot brain into your girlfriend turns you into like superhuman strength as well. And she threw a basketball at her head, and her head shattered like a 6th century vase. And like blood just shot up from the middle of her neck, and it was like one of the best things I've ever seen. I was like, "That's awesome!" And then I had to go take my ear medicine.
Throw Mama from the Train Lady.
Yeah. And she was in Scrooged.
Yeah, she's great. She's no longer with us. All
Yeah,
right,
that
lady.
She passed away. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was very young too. She was only like 50 something. 50.
Really? She looked
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, that's.
No, she did.
I-
I thought she was much older, so she must have had a rough time of it. That's all. I still R.I.P. Just saying, she didn't look good.
Yeah, right, that's fair,
And
that's fair.
he died 59.
Died at 59.
But to be fair, she was born in 1929, so 60 is like 200 now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did they say how she died? Was it a bear attack?
It says of a broken heart because Kevin was mean.
This guy who's the worst said I didn't look good.
In 1988.
Yeah. I was like, wah. I was a baby still in 88, apparently. Wah, you don't look good.
James, anything we didn't cover?
No, I had Nightmare on the original Nightmare on Elm Street as well, but I figured that was going to be one of them that was going to be taken pretty quickly. I said Vincent, I said Twilight Zone the movie. There's just so many good options out there, and I felt like, and this is a conversation I wish I could have covered. I think 80s was definitely a very good golden age of horror, to a point where it kind of brought horror back into the mainstream very quickly, and I think that helped with some of the campiness of some of the movies, as well as just some of the good independent and B horror films, because I think the advent of Betamax and VHS ushered in a new era of horror, and then horror was more available to the masses. So that's why I think you get to such this wide range of horror films that were available for this decade. So,
Well said. Steven.
Actually, I have 2. First one is Cannibal Holocaust, because it was the grandfather of found footage films. If we wouldn't have that, we wouldn't have Blair Witch. We wouldn't have the Last Broadcast, Poughkeepsie Tapes. We wouldn't have any of those films if it wasn't for Cannibal Holocaust. So
It's their fault.
my second one is, it's going to segue into a shameless plug, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Not only is it kind of ripped off The Breakfast Club with the image of the poster, like
that was on purpose.
Yeah, it was on purpose. It was trying to. I like the storyline and the how it was trying to continue from the first one, but you're thinking, how can you continue from? But anyway, shameless plug. I'm mentioning it because this week's podcast, we just had Caroline Williams on, and we talked about her latest film, 10 Minutes to Midnight. So
nice. She's also in an upcoming movie called Blind.
Yep.
And Colleen says 80s dominated in blending humor and horror and learning how to scare people, then lull them into a false sense of security, then scare them again. I know we ran really late. I apologize that. I know people need to work in the morning. So let's do a quick rundown. Philip, where do you like people following you?
Yes, folks can go to a number of places. First off, the website is darkdiscussions.com, so that's pretty easy to find. It's a all media website where we have video, reviews, podcasts. We have like 30 podcasts over there. So there's definitely something for everybody. Written reviews and things of that nature. We have a podcast feed. So my main podcast, Dark Discussions podcast, you can just find that anywhere. Then there's Dark Discussions Network of podcasts. And then I also have a travel guide to Lovecraft Country, the podcast, which is based off of the HBO television show where we talk weekly about that, among other stuff as well. And then, of course, Dark Discussions Podcast Facebook group page, as well as Dark Discussion 1 on Twitter.
Nice. And I missed, Brandon said Pandemonium from 1982, and Julia said Pumpkinhead. Yo-Yo.
Boy Meets Phone on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Yo, say Laurent on those same social media channels, and of course, you can find me here.
Kevin.
Hey, Knuckle on Twitter and Instagram. Tuesdays on Wicked Horror Show. I'm also part of Secret Underground Hideout and Black and White Fright, all of which are on the network. And if you go to secretundergroundhideout.com and check out the Halloween special that Bill put together, there is a special discount code for Deadly Grounds Coffee hidden in that promo. So go check it out.
Nice. Patrick.
You can find me throwdownthursdaypodcast.com. That's all the latest articles and episodes for Throwdown Thursday and the Shark Bites podcast. You can also find me on the Loudest Sports Show. All those shows are on the Dorkening Network. You can find me with Leo every Monday on the Indie Creator Spotlight. You can also find my book, How Much Do You Tip an Exorcist? Pretty much everywhere. But if you buy it from Oxeye Media, that's probably the best place to do it. But you can also get it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Yeah, that's about it. You can also find us on Facebook, all the same. Throwdown Thursday, Shark Bites, and the Loudest Sports Show.
Okay. Steven.
I think you skipped James, Leo.
James normally goes before me, so it's I figured.
All right. Super Retro Throwback Reviews on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Right now on our Facebook and Twitter page on our pin post, we have a contest going that Leo helped me set up. So it ends on Halloween night at 5:00. So enter it, and you'll get just read it. I'm not going to blurb it because we're running over time, but just check it out. Also, check out our podcast, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, the audio files. Like I said earlier, we had an interview with Caroline Williams. We talked about our latest movie, 10 Minutes to Midnight, and find that on the Dorkening Podcast Network. You can find me here on Wednesdays. So, yeah, definitely check my show out.
James.
Can't hear you, James.
You're muted.
God damn it. All right. You can find my tweets and Instagrams at LongTimeStorm, as well as you can find me here every Wednesday on The Dorkening. Then you can find me every Monday on It's Go Time with Jay and James. This week we had technical difficulties, so there was not a new episode out. But this weekend coming up, we record on Sunday, and they're out Monday morning. We're going to have Bob Anderson from Bob After Dark telling some more ghost stories and kind of getting us ready as we are full effect into our Spookytober, October extravaganza. And we have 2 more episodes of that. And so tune in to check that out. And you can find that same thing. Just go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just search It's Go Time with Jay and James. Leo.
Awesome. And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But more importantly, I want you to follow these awesome people here. Make sure you follow each and every one of them and check out this stuff. Everybody's doing some awesome content. And head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find a bunch of stuff on the shows on the network. And with that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Godspeed through Texas.